That's
Good morning,
okay.
everybody. The title of my talk, Please Meet AI, our dear new colleague. In other words, can scientists and machines truly cooperate? The main claim I'm going to make in my talk is that while everybody is talking about automating science and autonomous agent, I think the next major step going beyond AGI is human AI collaboration. And this is what my short talk is about. My background is natural language processing, so basically I have a double role. On the one hand, I'm of course a scientist, so I'm somebody who's using these technologies. And on the other hand, I am also the developer of the technology itself. So to start with, I'd like to tell you a short story from my personal life. I got interested in this topic in 2018 when I was the PC chair of the major conference in my field called ACL. In that year, we have received 1.8 thousand submissions, going 300 submissions over the previous year. And that was a big shift already. Of course, nowadays the field has exploded, and it's a bit funny to think back in time. But already at that time, I got this idea that something is radically changing and we need to get prepared for this process. The second wake-up call happened just over a year ago in 2024 when the AI scientist system has been published. So that was the first proof of concept, automating all steps in a scientific workflow in the domain of machine learning. And it was very striking for me because I realized the whole thing is getting closer to my job. And finally, just a few months ago, I looked at my social media feed and I've seen something called Agents for Science, which was the last wake-up call in the row, at least for now. And specifically, Agents for Science is the first open conference where AI serves as both primary authors and reviewers of research papers. So first I thought it must be scam, but then looking at the website, I realized that this event is run by a group of very serious researchers I know from the University of Stanford. And in the meanwhile, it's also not a single effort of this kind. So what do? Agents for Science is the first venue where AI authorship is not only allowed but required, enabling open evaluation of AI-generated research and the development of guidelines for responsible AI participation in science. So it sounds like a contradiction in itself, looking from a traditional perspective. The event has already happened, so there were about I think a bit below 50 papers submitted there in September, and they released their decisions and also have actually run the conference in October. And they also had the concept of outstanding paper awards, like a real conference or human-based conference. And one of those best paper awards, anecdotically, is called Bad Scientist. Can a research agent write convincing but unsound papers that fool LLM reviewers? I love that. And if you think about it, the speed of development in this area is just overwhelming or mind-blowing, in my opinion. It's just about over a year ago that we had the AI scientist, my second wake-up call, announced as the first comprehensive system for fully automatic scientific discovery that can perform research independently. And of course, there has been a huge public debate, including leading venues like Nature, discussing this and attracting a lot of public attention. Now, what can AI scientists actually do? As I mentioned, this system has been developed in the domain of machine learning, so the research target domain is machine learning. And the main use about this system is, for the first time, it automates the full research life cycle, starting with idea generation and separate steps like idea or hypothesis generation, novelty check, idea scoring, and then experiment iteration, which means that the system implements the code of the proposed idea, conducts experiments, and produces visualizations. And finally, the scientific communication, meaning paper write-up based on a manuscript template, and even LLM-based reviewing of that paper, whose results go back to the idea generation process in order to improve the next idea. And all of this at a claimed cost of approximately $15. The system has been announced just a bit of over a year ago, and it signals the new era of AI systems for research. And now we have, I think, at least 24 of different follow-up projects exploring this idea in various directions. Some of them go deeper in particular steps of the whole workflow. For example, generating better and more feasible research idea. Others go in different scientific domains, for example, chemical research. And of course, we can all ask this question, is the paper perfect? This is something that is discussed a lot. And as a technology development, I'm very confident to claim that the paper is imperfect in many ways, and it's incremental since it's based on past research. Probably it will be rejected in a human review, though this year a fully automatically generated paper adversarially managed to pass the peer review process in a highly selective top conference of my field, ACL. And of course, in various ways, there are different biases of this automated scientist, and it represents a reductive view of research, since research is not just consuming literature and outputting the idea, but it's also, of course, as we know, a social process. And this raises the question, what is the role of a scientist in this new world, where we have a fully AI-driven scientific ecosystem, including not only LLM-driven researchers, but also reviewers, area chairs, and entire conferences. And the developers of AI scientists claim in their article, the role of a human scientist will not be diminished. If anything, the role of a scientist will change and adapt to a new technology and move up the food chain. So I cite from their manuscript. So the role of a human scientist will remain important, but it will shift. Why is it so? Because humans and AI have complementary skills. While AI can work 24/7 and is extremely good at repetitive work, at combinatorial tasks, and never complains about boring, it's devoid of human emotions. Humans have these nuanced intuitions about topics, and they are trained with a scientific reasoning workflow and understanding of the research process. And it's shown in current research that humans are better at reasoning compared to AI scientists. So our vision is that in future we have a research team consisting of humans and AI agents because of their complementary strengths that they bring to a team. And these agents collaborate on jointly co-constructing a solution. A solution here can be an idea, it can be software code, it can be a scientific manuscript, so it can be any type of multimodal artifact. All that glitters is not gold. Often have you heard that told. Last year, just a year ago, 24 at the end, Nature has published this meta-study when combinations of human and AI are useful, where they examined about like 180 different studies of human AI collaboration. And while they found that it's impactful and promising research area, the outcomes highly depend on the task and user. So there is no consistent trend. And in 50% of all cases, the combination of human and AI was actually worse than either human or either AI alone. And I think in the expert domains, and science is an expert domain, this result could be even potentially lower. So to address this, together with an interdisciplinary group of colleagues from machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science, we propose human AI solution co-construction as preference-based search. It's a novel framework which allows human and AI agents jointly co-construct a solution, and the search for this solution is modeled in a so-called construction space where a human can collaborate with the agent based on human preferences expressed with natural language dialogue. And those interested in this paradigm are invited to look close at the manuscript, and that this is the end of my pitch. Thank you very much.